To prepare you for what the textbook shows you on how to do valuation of an annual bond, I'm going to take it apart a little bit and show you some basics that build up to that. The first thing I do want to emphasize is I'm making the assumption that anyone seeing this video already understands how to do the very basics in Excel: add, subtract, multiply, divide, and can move around and expand cells. If anyone struggles with those because you don't use Excel regularly, by all means give me a heads up and we'll get together and do a demonstration on the computer. What I first want to show you is the present value of a single amount. If I know that in 20 years there will be an amount granted to me, say my parents had invested money and they set up a trust fund that told me that in 20 years I would have $100,000 coming to me. I can figure out what that's worth to me today if I had to cash it out. And the way to do that is you click on the FX, which is function key. Make sure that your category is financial. Scroll down until you hit PV, which is present value. And we're going to figure out the present value of a single amount. Right here, I prefer using my cells, so I'm going to put in, if you click on this button here, it'll allow you to go over and click on the cell. So for the rate, it was 7%. Now I could have just typed in 7% or 0.07, but this way, if I'm doing some calculations later and want to adjust the numbers, it would automatically adjust my formula as well. My NPER is a number of periods that this is going to be invested for. We're going to go with the assumption that it's compounded annually over 20 years. In that case, if I click on the box next to it, I can click on the 20 years invested. I'm not going to have a payment because this is a one-time thing. I'm going to have a future value of $100,000. So I'm going to click on that field and bring that in. Now what you see here then is I have the rate is cell B4, the NPER is cell B5, and my future value is B3. So this tells me if I click OK, my value is $25,841.90. Now that's a negative number because Excel makes the assumption that I'm actually putting out money. Whenever I'm doing a money calculation, it's assuming that you're investing it in something or that you're paying out. So if I wanted to make this come out that this is money I'm going to receive, I'd have to use a negative or just keep this in mind. But what that means is if I had to put a dollar value on what this investment's going to mean to me today, it's just over $25,000, not quite $26,000. Now, if I want to do a present value of annuity, an annuity is when you have equal payments being made out. Then I want, let's say, we're going to have equal payments of 100. Let's do $250. The rate of return, let's say, is 6%. And excuse me while my computer decides to give me messages. We're going to write the NPER is going to be equals, let's say 10 years times, it's going to be quarterly. Now in that case, where you're going to have 40 payments, but your rate of return is based on an annual interest rate, so you have to take your rate of return and divide it by that same number, by 4, so that your interest and your NPER, one's multiplied by the number of payments within a year, the other one's divided by the number of payments per year. That's really important, or you're going to end up with inaccurate information. So in this case, if I want to do present value, my rate, my NPER, and I'm going to have payments for $250. And then I'm going to click OK. So knowing that over a period of, it's 40 periods, but over a period of 10 years, compounded quarterly. If I put away $250 each period, today's value for that, all that money that I put away, is worth $7,478.96. Now we can do a similar thing with future value. Future value of a single amount. We're going to use the same idea. I want to invest today. I inherited $1,000. I want to invest it. Say I'm a new mom and I have a newborn baby and I want to invest it so that after they graduate from their community college or technical college, they'll have either something to start out their new career, or if they want to go on to a 4-year degree, they'll have college money for that. So the $1,000 is just a single amount. It's the only money I've got, but I'm going to invest it for 20 years. And let's say at an interest rate, 20 years is here. The interest rate, let's say we're going to do at 5%. So, future value, you're going to, again, financial, use FV for future value. And it's set up very similar to the present value. Your rate, which is 5%. My NPER was going to be 20 years, but it's only going to get compounded annually, so I'm not going to worry about it. And this is a single amount, so I'm going to invest today. A present value, we know it's worth today $1,000. What I want to find out is what's it going to be worth 20 years from now when the investment's done. So $1,000 with nothing ever added to it, just the $1,000 in 20 years would be worth $2,653.30. Now we're going to do future value of an annuity. The equal payments. We're going to do equal payments of $250, which means I'm going to have taken out of my paycheck, every paycheck, $250 to put towards my retirement fund. All right? I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to have a rate of return, let's say, of 6%. I'm going to do the same thing, though. It's probably going to get compounded quarterly, so we will put the equal sign, 6% divided by 4, and then we're going to have, we're going to invest it for the next 20 years, but we've got to remember that we're going to have it compounded quarterly, so times 4. So when we do the future value of this annuity, it means I'm putting money away every paycheck towards this. How much am I going to have at the end of my 20 years? Okay, yeah, I had it for 20 years. Okay, my rate, I click on that cell. My NPER, I've already got it figured, I click on that cell. And I am doing a payment, not a present value this time. My payment is going to be the $250. So if I put $250 away for the next 20 years at 6% interest rate, you're going to have $38,177.71 at the end of that time period. That's present value and future value of both a single amount and annuities. If you have questions as you're working on this, don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you.